Can't believe it's 11 a.m. already. Hey, it's Wednesday, May 14th. My name is Wayne Pelletier. Welcome to the Resonant Pixel Show. I'm excited to be here. I've got a pretty cool topic today, or at least I think so, but then again, I'm biased. You know, there have been a few shows here in the last couple of weeks where I was inspired topically based on something that happened on a call. And I was on a call very recently, so this one's no different. Sorry if that's uninteresting, but I think it's pretty damn interesting. Is someone on the call was coming down hard on Squarespace. And it was interesting to me, and I know I'm excessively empathetic, but it was interesting to see that it was a thing where you could throw heavy shade on whatever platform you want because we get to work with whatever platform we want. It's all good. And while I don't understand the hate for any specific platform, I mean, I guess I kind of do, but that's just not how I roll. But here's what's really happening there. And maybe this particular person will feel differently some years from now. But, you know, early in our careers, we get to benefit from deep diving into a specific tech stack or a specific app suite. It increases our value to the organization. It makes us fast. It makes us more consistent. It does a lot of things within an organization that provides a lot of benefit, and that specialization is rewarded just systematically. But later in our career, things change and it can become a detriment. Now, later in life, it can work against you because at some point you're either on the outside looking in or you're starting your own business. And that comes with a few challenges. Deep specialization can be great because it dictates who you work with and it dictates what you deliver. But that's also a detriment because it's dictating to you what you can deliver or whom can be your customer, and that may not always be what you want. So what I'm saying is there's a who we serve, two fists. There's a who we serve and a what we do, right? Or let me do like half open fists. So they can be the same size. What you do can be extremely specific or extremely vague, and who you serve can be specific and or vague. Though the more vague they both are, the harder it is to run and create that business. And the more specific they are, the easier it is to close and resonate with clients, but sometimes those clients can be more difficult to find. You've got that's called niching. So when someone is like really throwing a lot of shade, like a ton of hate at a platform, right? Even if it's a popular one like a WordPress or something, I have been known to do some of that. So, just call myself out here. When we have to pick a priority, it really helps to know very specifically whom you serve and how you want to serve them. And it comes from our work history. You can dig from the work history like I did to say, I've worked with these types of businesses, I've worked with these types of apps, I've worked with these types of media types, and all of that feeds into a pattern that says boom, 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 boom. Oh, I have a lot of experience working in this specific combination. Well, I should start a business with that. Well, I came at it more of a whom I want to serve, and I know that Squarespace serves those businesses extraordinarily well. I also happen to really like touching on Squarespace. It's a delight to use. But that aside was not the final decision. I am very much focused on whom I'm serving. And so my who is bigger than my what. Now, some people, if their what is really large and their who is really small, then you can say, all right, I do this for a lot of different types of businesses. Or you can say, I do lots of things for a very specific type of business. So your who and your what can vary in size. And I'm sorry if my hands are confusing because I'm not sure I was consistent with whether the left or the right was the what and the who every time I just made that example. Kind of wish I'd have thought of that before I hit record here. So the point being, when there's a misalignment and it creates friction, if you're trying to make large, massive websites or large, massive media campaigns or something, anything for a very small business, normally you would just say, well, they can't afford it, or that because the technological complexity is more than necessary. But I would also say the opposite is true. I think this is the opposite, that if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, then you're only ever going to offer Squarespace to any business. Like if I was really specific, say I'm dug in on Squarespace and I think it's a solution for everybody. And I'm using Squarespace as an example. It could be I'm dug in on WordPress, or I'm dug in on Webflow, and say this is a solution for every business. Everybody should do this. And a really large enterprise firm or a really small business that can't afford the time it takes, or the technological complexity is excessive, then it's not a great fit. So that's what I mean by having a strong understanding of whom you serve and how you serve them. And I think that it goes a long way to having a broader understanding of the complexities as our career changes. Like I said, when you're young, it really helps you to go deep with any specific technology, tech stack, app stack. Like I spent decades deep in Adobe Creative Suite, knowing the bulk of those apps inside and out, because I was rewarded by the organizations, the companies I worked for having that, the consistency and the speed and the ability to rapidly problem solve within inside of those tools, and that feature set was really beneficial to those organizations. But now I own a design company, and knowing that level of depth is individual contributor level work and not owner level work. So it is unnecessary for me to know deep and maintain deep expertise with the Adobe Creative Suite. The same thing goes for everything else. It is absolutely, when you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So I was inspired to talk about that today because I wasn't upset with the person that was saying some pretty ugly things. It was really about sympathizing with where they're at in their journey and realizing that I was probably there at some point in my journey as well. I guarantee you I was a total jerk about some things at times, or opinionated in ways that I didn't have the foresight to understand the complexity behind it, because I didn't run a business. I wasn't in my 50s, and I wasn't on the outside looking in of the agency game like I am now. So if you're a late career starter, you probably totally get what I'm saying right now. But I would say that it's about all I've got on that. You can tell me if you think I'm crazy or if you agree with me in the comments. Also, you should probably like and subscribe so you can watch this in the future. And I don't have much else. I do, you know what? I take that back. I do want to touch on what I've been using from an AI perspective, because it seems like both of the apps that I've been using a ton, Kin on my iPhone and Known, or GetKnown.com on my desktop computer for more work-related stuff. Honestly, I'm not sure. They're starting to overlap work and personal a little bit. So I don't know what the future looks like there, but I will say that they've both been launching tons of updates lately. It seems like there's a new feature every single day. I'm starting to feel like keeping up is like a job. But and it is absolutely not my job. But it's interesting to see all of these features get just blasted into these apps, and I'm excited to touch and use them all and extract more value from them in ways both personally and professionally, however I can. And this landscape is just moving and it's not just because I'm old. I think a lot of people feel this way. I saw this in a thread in a community of agency owners that I'm in. Like, people are saying, I can't, Uncle, I can't keep up. It's been an interesting ride, and I think it's only going to increase in speed. I think what's contributing to it, and actually I might go back to this thread and comment on this. There isn't, outside of ChatGPT, and even they don't have total market dominance. There isn't like a duopoly like there is in cell phones with Apple and Google, right? Or there isn't, or even Microsoft and Apple from a desktop operating standpoint. There's another duopoly. There isn't a monopoly, a duopoly, or any dominant brands that have a massive amount of market share. Like, I think Chrome on desktops, like 66% of all desktops or something like that, 65%. That is a massive market share considering how many browsers there are out there. But I would say that it seems to me later this year, if we approach anything of market dominance, like if ChatGPT continues to grow and separate itself from the market and become sort of the standard, right? The Kleenex, the Xerox, then maybe this changes and we're able to kind of keep up. But right now, seems like there's 5 amazing, cool apps that launch every single day that I'd like to check out. I had a list. I was dumping in Apple reminders like, check this out, check this out, check this out. And it's gotten long enough now where I'm like, no. I'll deal with these if any of them pop up to become more mature, like, Midjourney or something. But and ultimately maybe Google or Canva or somebody like Figma with all the features they recently launched. Like, maybe someone just becomes that sort of Adobe Creative Suite of the AI space. I don't know. Maybe it'd be my pals at Get Known. I don't know. Rooting for you guys. Anyway, that's just a random thought. I know you didn't ask for it, but it's what I got. And I did a terrible job in this call with my arms. Terrible. I was doing pretty well too. I didn't have the dryer on today like I did Friday. I got off this this live recording on Friday, and my dryer buzzed. That noise that the dryer makes when it's done. And I just walked away from my desk and I said, oh shit, the dryer was on the whole time. So I went back and checked through the recording of the show Friday. And sure enough, subtly in the background, you can hear clank, 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 zipper on sweater or something like that. Oh my gosh, I was irritated for a solid half an hour after. And then the stoic in me kicked in and said, well, I can't control it. I'm not going to go back and erase it, because these being perfect, these videos here in this box being perfect is not really the point. So let me focus on the point. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. I hope you're productive. I hope you're creative. I hope you have a good time. And I will see you here Friday, 11 a.m. Wait, today's Wednesday, right? Yeah. 11 a.m. Friday, right here. And thank you. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Call me crazy. Whatever. Have a good one.